So it's the morning of December 15th, 2016, aka Rogue One Day. For those who know me, I'm a massive, massive Star Wars fan, and I've been waiting for this day since this movie was announced. As a massive Star Wars fan, this is probably the Star Wars movie that I've been waiting for like my entire life. It's from everything I've seen, read, heard, it's supposed to be shot like a war movie. It looks gritty, just like all the war movies we've seen recently, and I think that factored into the Star Wars universe is going to make for an amazing, amazing movie. I was originally going to stay away from any type of review for this movie, but a review from the Miami Herald came across my desk recently, and I started to read it, and it kind of angered me a little bit. Not because it was negative, because I haven't seen the movie so I can't really comment on it, but because it just felt like it was written from the point of view of somebody who A, doesn't like Star Wars, B, doesn't like movies, and was just trying to rag on the movie for the sake of ragging on the movie to get hits on the page or whatever of the Miami Herald. I don't know. Nothing against the Herald, just I don't usually agree with their movie commentator who I won't name. So after I read that, I kind of went online and started reading some reviews. And everybody seems to like it, especially Star Wars fans. I figured I'd make this little video together because I've already gotten a bunch of people asking me what I think of the movie coming up, and I'm sure I'm going to get people asking me what I think of the movie after I've seen it, so I figured it'd just be easier to make a video, post my entire reaction once I see the movie and kind of everything leading up to it. It is now 6:07, the movie's at 7, we're cutting it pretty close, time to get ready. I gotta pick out the gear, I Join the Resistance shirt, my hat, my Rebellion hat. So I've officially seen Rogue One. I'm gonna give you guys my review, what I thought of it, my recommendations. First things first, before I even get into that. This book right here, Star Wars Catalyst. It's a prequel to Rogue One. I know that Lucasfilm, Disney, everybody has said that you don't need to read any of the supplemental materials or watch any of the shows or anything to get what's going on in the movies. I think they kind of exaggerated the fact that you don't need to, because the first act of Rogue One, I think, doesn't make a lot of sense if you haven't read the book, which is a really interesting choice. I feel like they might alienate some people because of that, because it kind of does suck that they're imposing the fact that you have to read the books in order to watch the movies. I love reading the books, so for me it's not a big deal, but I know there's going to be people who it obviously bothers and are going to be turned off. The movie was everything that a massive Star Wars fan would want. Just the concept of a band of rebels getting together to steal the Death Star plans. We know that happens because of the beginning of A New Hope, but it was kind of just this part of the Star Wars mythos that was kind of always just there, and we didn't really know too much about, and we never thought that we would really know anything about, and now we do. This movie really, I feel like it really adds a sense of completion to the original trilogy, as weird as it sounds, because before this movie I felt that the original trilogy was pretty complete on its own, but this movie just adds a whole nother layer and dimension especially to A New Hope, which is it's my favorite Star Wars movie. I want to go back and watch A New Hope knowing what I now know from watching Rogue One. It also sort of bridges the prequels with the original trilogy in a weird way. There's some shots and scenes that kind of are a little reminiscent of the prequels, and there's certain things that happen that I'm not going to get into because it's spoilers. But yeah, I feel like this movie brings the entire Star Wars universe together in a way that hadn't really been done before. I thought Felicity Jones was amazing as Jyn Erso, the lead of the movie. I was a really big fan of hers from before. She made a movie called Like Crazy with Anton Yelchin a couple of years back. It's actually one of my favorite movies. So I was really, really excited when I found out that she was cast in a Star Wars movie as a lead. She really does a good job of carrying this movie. Also, Diego Luna. I thought he was gonna be kind of a throwaway kind of character, but he really wasn't. He's kind of, I'll say he's the leader of the group almost. And he really, I think, has that right gravitas to do that. I remember when I first found out Diego Luna was casted in Star Wars, and I was like, really? But it worked so well. I think that's what the movies are doing well now, is that Disney's really finding actors, like really good actors, to take up these roles, and I think that's why this new era of Star Wars movies just feels so different, because they're just putting so much into not just the story and the visuals and the scripts, but the actors themselves, and it's really, really, really paying off. My favorite character was Donnie Yen's character, Chirrut. I'm a really big fan of like old school Kurosawa samurai movies, and Donnie Yen plays the archetype of that old blind samurai, who's just a total badass, but delivers these like super spiritual lines that inspires everybody, and kind of just gives you the sense of like hope. I think most people's favorite character is gonna be K2SO, the droid. Force Awakens and Rogue One have done an amazing job with the droid characters. He's definitely the comic relief of the movie. Alan Tudyk really nailed the comedic timing with K2SO, and he also does a lot in the movie. It's not just dropping jokes. Mads Mikkelsen's character, I'm not gonna say too much about him. He was really great in the movie. I actually thought he was better than he was in Doctor Strange. His character becomes a very important character to the kind of the whole Star Wars story. One of the actors I didn't actually like in the movie was Forrest Whitaker. I liked the character, but I thought that Forrest Whitaker kind of overacted him a little bit. Still a very important character. The first act, while I was watching it, felt a little slow to me. I think it's because of Catalyst, because I kind of, the first act kind of goes over a lot of what you already know from Catalyst, so it was kind of something that I already knew was going to happen. Once the second act kicks in, that's really when the movie starts to take off. At least it did for me. That's when a lot of the action really starts happening, and I feel like the story really starts to unfold. One thing this movie did really well, they made it feel like a very lived-in world. You know, not like the prequels that was all digital, it was all CGI. It felt very fake and artificial. They obviously used a lot of practical effects and real locations with this movie, and the art department did an amazing job. I mean, it's a war movie. This feels like a war movie, just the way that it was shot, the grittiness of it. People are dirty, armor's dirty, clothing is dirty. It feels so lived in, and it feels so organic, and it's what you want from a Star Wars movie. The Force Awakens did it really well. I felt like this movie took it even a step further, and it and added a level of grittiness that Force Awakens didn't have. It feels like a war movie. The third act of the movie. Once that third act kicks in, I was just like, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. The third act is just like action on top of action on top of action on top of action, but the story's still there, and it's still very emotional because I'm such a massive Star Wars fan. And that's really, the third act of the movie is really when everything starts to tie together, and you start noticing little things that you can start connecting to other pieces of canon. There's if you watch Star Wars Rebels, it's hard to catch, but there's a little Easter egg in one of the space shots, so look out for that if you're a fan of that show. And it's just like you just start seeing things that you know from the expanded universe start to tie into the movie universe, and it's just so gratifying as a Star Wars fan. And then like the last 15 minutes of the movie, I'm not gonna say anything about it, just that I got really emotional, because it just, man, I can't talk about it. When you see those last 10 minutes, you'll know what I'm talking about. People have asked me about Vader already, how much screen time he has. Without giving too much away, he has enough screen time. He's not there a lot, but the scenes that he's in, his presence is felt, which is what I really wanted. Vader. I didn't want Vader to overshadow anybody else in the movie, because it's not Vader's movie. You know, Vader was the villain in the original 3. There's some really cool spoilery stuff regarding the Empire you'll know when you see it. There's a really really cool character on the side of the Empire that I was kind of half expecting, but not the way that it was done, and it was really really awesome to see. If you're a Star Wars fan and you don't get emotional during the last scene in the last shot of the movie, you're not a Star Wars fan. I'm sorry, but you're just not. I loved the movie. I just saw it, so right now I'm telling myself I liked it better than Force Awakens. It may be different tomorrow when I've kind of thought it over in my sleep, but as of right now, as much as I love Force Awakens, I really really loved Rogue One. It just makes me feel so happy to be a Star Wars fan, and I just feel a sense of completion now with those original 3 movies. I'm just so excited that movie's out there, and it makes me so excited to see what comes next. We got a Han Solo movie coming soon, or in 2 years, and I hope they make more movies like in the vein of Rogue One, because if they do, we are in for a treat. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel because I'll probably start making a lot more videos like this.